Leute, wir sind immer noch beim Discival. Vielleicht habt ihr das andere Video schon gesehen mit ein paar Highlights. Die Spiele werden auch noch hochgeladen. Vielleicht sind es auch schon mittlerweile, wenn du es guckst. Und heute gibt es noch ein Interview mit James Elsner aus, ich glaube, Denver. Auf jeden Fall aus den USA. Seines Zeichens Weltranglisten Platz 10 war hier zum Discival, hat mitgespielt, weil er in der Nähe war für amerikanische Verhältnisse, nämlich in Bulgarien. Das Interview kommt jetzt. Okay, Jim, it's so great you're here for the tournament, and of course I'm curious because this is the first time we have an actual comparison that is possible, because we all end up on the world ranking list, but we have no idea what it actually means. If I get 125 points at a German tournament, is that even the same level as when I play a US tournament of 125 points? What's your impressions?
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you, Jan, for talking me into coming, and it's been a real pleasure to spend several days here.
Nice.
Despite the weather.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to come. Obviously, there was an opportunity to come, and how do we understand what's happening in this sport that we love across the world? And we know it's fairly well developed in certain spots in the U.S. The Swedes play it pretty regularly, and since you started here in Germany, there's a lot of play happening, and this is the big tournament every year.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see and make that comparison, because we do have a international ranking system that started actually 20 years ago or so by Conrad Damon, and it takes into account the tournaments you play and how well you do in those tournaments, and there's a ranking system. So when you play in a tournament, you get a ranking. And so how does that actualize when we're now thinking about players that don't travel to tournaments? And so my initial impression is that it's a pretty accurate system, and that the German players that are ranked, for example, in the mid 30s and in the 40s, that would be a similar kind of ranking that you would have if you're playing at that level if you went to a U.S. tournament.
All right. I don't think we have anyone in the 30s though, but 50 to 100, I think, is a couple of people.
Okay. I think maybe a little bit underranked. Yeah, but probably not by much. I do think, for example, the Swedish players are probably somewhat underranked also in that system.
By underranked, you mean they might actually be better?
Yeah, they might be better.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I think you guys are probably underranked also, but I don't know by how much. I would say it's a pretty good system, and that if you don't have anything else to go by, it's definitely. In other words, if I was looking for a partner for a tournament, and let's say I'm ranked 15th in the world, and if I choose a partner from Germany who's ranked, let's say 50th, then I think that pair would do about as good if I chose someone ranked near 50 in the U.S.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And now, from what you've seen at the level of play, and you already told me it's a bit tough to tell because you didn't play everybody and you didn't play the top tier, probably due to the random pair-up. Is there anything that you would say, this is your next step in getting better at DDC? Is there anything you saw where you thought, if they work on that, that'll do?
Yeah, well, the main thing about DDC, and it's pretty obvious once you play it a little bit, is you have to throw the discs in. And I see a lot of throwouts, and a lot more than you'd expect for the top players. The top players rarely throw it out, and they're just 95% or higher on 2 or 3 different throws, and I'm seeing 90% or higher on some people with some throws, but it doesn't extend to maybe multiple throws, and it doesn't extend to a lot of the players that I see.
Yeah, but that is a very clear thing we have to work on for the players who do that.
Yes.
Do you think it's mostly mindset or practice or something else?
It's not mindset, it's practice. It's playing a lot and seeing the game and competing against other players. The game really slows down once you've played more than 40 or 50 times, it starts to slow down. If you start to play 100 and, or more, it starts to make sense, and there's no rush. I tell my players, you're never rushing. You might have to catch and throw quickly, or you might have to think quick, or you might have to react quickly, but you're not rushing.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Yeah, and so I see some rushing out here. It seems intimidating that there's 2 discs coming.
Yeah.
And obviously your play is different. And again, with the exception of you and a few others, most of the folks aren't very skilled at tipping yet.
Yeah.
So tipping would be the second thing. A lot of the tips I see, even from you and some of the better tippers, they tend to be fairly violent tips. They put the disc up in the air fairly high.
Yeah.
And that can be problematic, especially if there's wind. But
Yes.
also, you have to then locate the disc. It sometimes leaves your vision. Third, it's unnecessary. That oftentimes the tip comes immediately before the catch, the partner's catch. And a good catch and throw takes about a second, maybe a second and a half.
Yeah.
And so a tip, even to the top of your head, just above your head, and a milk down to the below
Knee
the
levels,
knees is more than a second. It's less
I think
than a second.
it might be a solution to a problem, a questionable solution to the problem that we're not so sure when exactly is the second disc coming. So better be safe and tip high.
Yes.
But you're right, it invites other problems, and it's probably not the best solution to this problem.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to solve the escape yourself. You're saying, let me take care of this with just an.
There will be 5 second. There will be a 5 second window.
Yeah.
You go have a coffee and throw the disc back.
Yeah. Send a tweet or whatever you do, and that's not necessary. The real good players have very soft hands, and they tip in a very controlled way, and then they give them plenty of time for their partner to catch and throw. Now, if your partner fumbles with the disc, doesn't get a good grip on it, then you could be in trouble. But you can milk all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
It usually gives you enough.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
So those are the 3 things. Don't rush. Throw them in, obviously, and little softer tips on a little more controlled tips. But I think this is wonderful, and I think you're doing an excellent job, Jan. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much, and thank you so much for coming all the way. See you next time.
You're welcome.